I don't know what you're looking for, but all I can tell you tonight is you gotta have faith in God for your miracle. Have faith.
future without boundaries.
Countless boundaries. A future
where everything is possible.
without limits. Full of love and wonder. So, explore, create, revoke your limits. Exceed your potential. The future is here.
New Season Worship Center, located at 4660 North University Drive. Welcome to a brighter future.
Good evening, New Season. We are here on another Thursday evening here with yours truly, Yesse, with Yesse, where we just come to enlighten you, inspire you, provide you with information for you, for your family, for maybe you're a caregiver and you care for someone that needs this information that we come here week after week to share with you. So thank you for being there on the other side as I am here with you guys, which I absolutely love and appreciate every single one of you on the other side. Good evening, Facebook. I see you. Good evening, Facebook. Good evening, 89.1. How are we doing over there on the roads and in your homes and wherever you're listening from? Good evening to you. And of course, those on YouTubers. You are so important, YouTubers. And anybody that is not on YouTube, you need to be on YouTube. You need to be on YouTube. You're there on Facebook on your top right, New Season Gospel FM. That's how you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and continue to help us grow our numbers so we can reach so many more people around the world. So good evening, YouTube. Good evening, 89.1. And those in the room with us day after day, good evening, Facebook family. Sister Laurel, good evening to you. Thank you for joining. Please share the broadcast so that everyone gets it. Share. It's Thursday, guys. It's Thursday. It is end of August. It is the beginning of the school year. Lord, do we love the beginning of the school year. You know, for some it's more tricky than others, but it is what it is. We take it one day at a time. And actually, this is a good time of the year for me as an advocate, because a lot of families need help with setting their children up for success, or young adult up for success in the school system. So it's a good time. It's a good time of the year to be able to continue to help parents, caregivers do the best that they can and give the best they can to their student, regardless of the age. So it's a good time of year. So hello. We're going to get started. We are going to get started. So much has been happening in this week alone, and the week is not even over. It's Thursday. It's Thursday, and so much has been happening, but all good stuff, all good things. And you know, if you guys heard the show on Monday, I mentioned, do we really know what's in our hands? Do we really know what power we hold in our hands? Do we really know our talents, our skills, our abilities? And so many things that have happened this week remind me of that. Like, wow, like, do you really understand the power that you have using your voice, using your experiences to make a difference in the lives of other people that perhaps are in similar situations as I am, you know? And so it's been amazing to be able to use my voice, that one tool that we all have and that we all need to make a point to use at some point. And I'll tell you why, because we on Monday, I had an opportunity that is like no other. I participated in what's called the White House Virtual Roundtable. And the purpose of this roundtable was for the Better Care, Better Jobs Act, which is in legislature, and basically says, in order for individuals with disabilities to remain included, independent in the community, using with that being able to use the services that are available to them to allow them to be successful and independent. So what those are whether it's nursing, a home health aide, a caregiver, really one-on-one personal care support systems, so that these individuals can remain living in the community. And so what happens if this is not granted, those individuals lose funds and lose services. Therefore, there's less jobs available for caregivers and the providers, which has been a big there's been a big hole in that and a big need, even more so now with COVID. And so having a voice in that table as an advocate and as a person with a developmental disability was pretty huge. It was pretty huge. And that opportunity presented itself by ARC South Florida, which provides such services to these individuals. So that was, or has been so far, besides today, the highlight of my week. The contacts have been amazing. The information and the knowledge has been great. And so I look forward to continuing to network with these individuals and continuing to make a difference. It's funny because a friend of mine who's very involved in politics, I think it was about 2 days ago, says to me, "Hey, you should be a lobbyist." I'm like, "I should be a what?" And he's like, "Yeah, you should be a lobbyist." And it's like, all right, I'm going to look into that and see what that entails. We'll talk about that in the near future. But basically, that's being an advocate. That's being an advocate, in the White House and in the big level with the big dogs, if you will, to make sure that these changes happen. So, hey, if it's about the positive changes for individuals with disabilities, I am all for it. And there's a joke I say in Spanish, de aquí a la Casa Blanca. No hay carro, nos vamos en balsa. My family's Cuban, so if I go to the White House from here, in a car, in a vehicle, and if there's no car or vehicle, we'll go on a boat, but we'll make it to the White House. So we're gonna get there. We're definitely gonna get there. Do me a favor, guys. Once again, share, and invite. Share and invite your Facebook. Share your YouTube if you are on YouTube. Share. So many things going on, that being one of them. Of course, you guys know here in New Season, we are pushing forward Mission Jamaica, and that is to help those in need in Jamaica with their medical needs. So from medical supply, Band-Aids, blood pressure machines, whatever it is that you're able to give to us for this Mission Jamaica, we will receive, and we will truly appreciate it. And with that, I recently was able to get a donation from a local organization. So we got a few boxes of donation, which we're very grateful for. And so it started, guys. We're doing it. We're not backing up. So if you have any donations, you want to do a monetary donation, you can do that as well. So you know how to find us. The information is on your screen, and you can always just give us a call if you need us to coordinate getting any material over to New Season, and that's 954-533-8187. And so as I say that, and I love that we're doing Mission Jamaica, because we just don't know, unless we have seen it or live it, the need that exists around the world to help individuals with disabilities or illnesses, something as a high blood pressure, or blood clots, whatever it is. There's so much need, and when you don't have easy access to health care, it is very difficult to obtain it, to maintain it, and therefore it's difficult to better your health. And so how grateful we should be that we have the ability to just go to the doctor, to have health insurance. And sometimes perhaps we take that for granted, which we definitely should not ever take that for granted, because for many, if they had that care right away, they would have had a solution, or they would still be here today. So it's very important that we come together in this mission and help the people in the community around the world the best we can together. So I'm very excited about that. And that brings me to something I read today. Actually, earlier this week, I read about causes of disability in developing countries. If we think we have it bad here, where we have so much access to doctors, to medical supply, having a surgery when needed and all that stuff, and yet we still have trouble, and we still have things that we have to go through. Imagine being in third world countries, developing countries, where there's none of that. There is none of that. So it's very, very difficult. And so what are some causes of disability in developing countries? So here, when we hear professional speaking, we hear, oh, well, it's in the food that we eat, or it's hereditary, or it's something, it's just something that you were born with. It's developmental. It's whatever it is. But what we don't know is that here in the United States, in third world countries, one of the top causes of disability is actually wars and the consequences of wars and other forms of violence, of destruction, of poverty, hunger, epidemics, and just major shifts and major changes in populations. And so that is the biggest one. And so when it talks about the war, I can tell you I have been a witness of horror stories when it comes to those that serve in the military or have served in Vietnam. And it's just sad to see the disabilities, but it's even sadder to see the lack of services for them as advanced as we are here in this country. So just imagine in third world countries and countries around the world how much worse it is. And so the second one is a high proportion of overburdened and just impoverished families in very high poverty, and they're overwhelmed. They're unhealthy housing, unhealthy living conditions. And so that's something that you really see in a family of someone with a disability, or in that person's life themselves, the level of poverty for whatever reason. And a lot of times that's a mindset thing too here. But if you don't have the opportunity, as in a third world country, you're told just stay in the house, don't leave that house because you are an embarrassment, it makes it that much worse. Something like that happens here, we're gonna have a problem. So if you've ever run into something like that, please let me know, give me a call. So again, it's a lot of people in third world countries or in developing countries are pretty overwhelmed populations in that regard. Also populations with a high proportion of people that can't read and write, uneducated folks that can't read and write. That's very heavy. And so therefore there's little awareness of basic social services, health services, or any type of educational services as it pertains to disability. So yes, the lower the opportunity for education, the less the resources. The less the resources, the less care you're going to receive, because more than likely no care exists for whatever it is that you need. And so that's very, very unfortunate as we think about our third world countries. I remember my family being from Ecuador. I remember visiting year after year after year and not seeing people with disabilities out in society. And I was like, I wonder why. I know they're here somewhere. So the reason for that was because nobody was bringing awareness to it. So if you don't bring awareness to it, if you don't use your voice, then of course nobody's going to know that you even exist or that you even present some kind of need. And it wasn't until about 2017, 2018 that Ecuador started to promote inclusion. I'm like, wow, they started to promote inclusion. They did their first concert during the holidays, during Christmas, was very specific to inclusion. But it was interesting to see that it was their version of inclusion, and the lack of education, the lack of knowledge, therefore brings the wrong idea on these subjects. And so it becomes kind of misleading, and it becomes a matter of, oh, well, this is what it is. This is what we have. This is what it is. So it must be right. I've even encountered that here, locally, with educated individuals. So, and you wouldn't think that would happen, but it's because everybody has a different frame of mind as it comes to disability inclusion. And so the more educated we are, the more we can uniform that sense of what disability is and how it can be better, and how someone can live a normal, high quality of life regardless of that disability. So another thing is that an absence of accurate knowledge about disability, its causes, its preventions, its treatments, stigmas and discrimination, and the misconceptions of ideas, that is a huge cause of further disability in countries around the world. Because again, the mindset All goes back to the mindset. So because the mindset of the ignorance, still exists, and the mindset of disability being something negative, then it's like, let's push it to the side, let's push it under the rug, don't even bother with it, it's not worth it. And so someone like myself and so many others, because it takes a village, needs to educate, enlighten them, these individuals, these leaders. And that's something that really gets to me, that we have to educate the leaders in power on disability, and what the new perspective, what the now is as it pertains to disability. What is disability now versus what it used to be back in the 1960s? It's a whole different world from back then to now. And that would make sense to us here, right, in the United States, because we're familiar with the Americans with Disabilities Act, or the IDEA, and all these things. However, our third world countries don't have these laws. I remember reading an article about Jamaica that they implemented a set of laws, more or less like the ADA, Americans with Disability Acts. They implemented these kind of laws in Jamaica a few years ago. I believe it was 2014. However, what's come out of it? When you continue reading, you wonder what has come out of it. What advantages do the people with disabilities over there have? Can they go to school? Can they go to work freely? Do they have accommodations? Can they make a decent income on a long-term basis? Do they have governmental benefits? And so they can implement a law in place, but do you have the tools and the resources to back up that law to allow it to be successful for the people that need it most? So that's very interesting. That's where my lobbying is going to come in. That is where my lobbying is going to come in. So I'm excited about that. Very, very excited about that. So the next thing is inadequate programs of primary health care and services. Inadequate programs of primary health care and services. Not only inadequate programs, but inadequate information, inadequate education to the primary care healthcare professionals. Why? Because these professionals are the ones that have the training, right? They went to school for many, many years. They have the education, they have the training, they now have the perception of what disability is in their eyes. And so if their perception on disability is, oh, you have spina bifida, you're not going to live more than X amount of years. If you do, you're going to be a vegetable in a wheelchair. If that's their perspective, because that's what they've been told, that is the same perspective that they're going to pay forward and give to the patients. And so then as the patients, as the parents, as the advocates, we have to then fight that and be like, no, we're not doing that. That's not what disability is today. We're not doing that. So it's reframing the mind. It's retraining. It's retraining based on the time that we're in, so that they better understand what disability is now. What disability is now, what the health issue is now, what the education system is now, what the employment world is now, as it pertains to the connection with individuals with disabilities to help them be successful. And so that is very important too. The inadequate programs of primary health care service providers and services. I'm a service provider myself. I can't tell you how many millions of questions I have every day as it pertains to the services provided in our community. So many, because it's like, really? Like, we're still doing that? Or we're still, concentrating on that, when we really should be concentrating on helping people be independent, teaching skills classes, doing trainings and things as a community, instead of individually or siloed, to the side as one single person. No, because the more we come together, the more we work together, the more we're going to be able to educate, enlighten, and inspire these individuals to live a fully independent life to the best of their ability. I always say their ability first, right? Ability first, disability second. See me for what I can do. and provide me with that opportunity to show you what I can do. Good evening, Richard. Richard from Alabama. I didn't realize you were from Alabama, Richard. Nice to see you here tonight. Thank you for joining, and please, please, please share. Please share. So yes, education is everything, guys. It's absolutely everything. Also, so again, the inadequate programs of the primary health care, the constraints, including lack of resources, geographical distance, physical and social barriers. All of that makes it impossible for people with disabilities to obtain services sometimes. Imagine if somebody can't work, if somebody can't drive. If somebody can't drive here in South Florida because they have a disability, they either have to depend on the ride from family and friends, strangers even sometimes, because it is a thing to pay strangers to drive you around, or they can take TOPS Transportation, which is a county-wide transportation service for individuals with disabilities, or STS, the Special Transportation System. I'm not sure why it's still called Special Transportation, but that's a whole nother topic. And so those cost money. That's $3.50. That's $3.50 a ride. That's $7 a ride for somebody that doesn't work, and that only solely depends on their SSI benefit, which is $790 a month if they're lucky, because a lot of times it's a lot less than that. So providing those kind of services is just crazy. And during COVID, there was one driver, so one TOPS driver per one participant, per one client. So can you imagine, like, maybe 100 buses transporting one individual with disability during COVID, with the amounts of people that need to go to doctor appointments, those that were still working, whatever the case. So we still have a lot of serious work to do to improve our services for the people that need it most. It's crazy. And if you guys look it up and just educate yourselves on the process and what it takes to obtain these services, it is insane. I've been there. I took TOPS myself for many years, from high school to after I got out of high school, and what I had to do to get it was crazy, and I'm sure it's not different. I talked to the director the other day, and it's the same process as I was advocating for a student of mine. So it is crazy, guys, the things that people with disabilities have to go through. So lack of resources. We are in a society where there's so many organizations, yet there's so much information that is missing. And so I think it's very important for us to work together, because what you can provide, maybe I can't provide, or I don't know. And what I know and I can provide and I know I can offer, perhaps that agency cannot. So I think it's very important to cross service and to work together for the greater good of our clients and our community. I know what it's like not to know what services are out there. I believe relatability is important. So somebody with disability might relate better to me than they can relate to somebody else, within the same agency. So let's work together to help our community, because we're so diverse, yet we're so alike, but those diversities and those things that makes us different sometimes become a little bit more powerful, where if we have somebody to relate to us in that way, that individual that needs the service would be more receptive and react better as it pertains to receiving the help that they need to be successful. Physical and social barriers, that goes back to the transportation, the lack of transportation, the not knowing anybody, not having family and friends. Those same barriers that we still face today in 2021 are the barriers that people in our third world countries are experiencing, only probably 10 times worse than we are. So it is so important that we do what we can to educate around the globe, worldwide, not just here in our own backyard, considering that we're pretty blessed more than so many others. So my encouragement is that we will work together more in our community, agency to agency, provider to provider, advocates with providers, residents with providers to let us know your needs and how we can help you, and that those that have the ability to make a difference, our higher ups, will, and more than anything, that they will be able and that they will embrace change and that they will embrace training. Because if you're not trained on the new, if you're not trained on the now, you're going to continue to do the same old, same old. And what good is that for the people? So let's bring in the new. Let's continue to train around the world and make it more of a priority, because unfortunately, low priority in social and economic development is huge as it pertains to anything disability, especially activity provided to providing equal opportunities, disability prevention, which is a thing, and rehabilitation for individuals with disabilities, whether they became disabled later in life, whether they had an accident, all of that. So let's do it, guys. Let's do it. I thank you guys for being here with me this evening. Thank you, Richard, again. Yes, that's right. I'm glad that you were here to listen in tonight. Thank you. Hope to have you again next week on another episode of Yes with Yesse, Thursday at 6:30 p.m. And so, as always, guys, go ahead and share and invite. I invite you guys again next week, Thursday at 6:30 for another episode of Yes with Yesse. Don't forget, tomorrow is Fun Friday. Fun Friday. I'm stuck on the yay. Fun Friday, guys, tomorrow with Pastor Steve and yours truly, Pastor Debbie and Henry. Pastor Henry will be here with you guys again tomorrow. So you guys will have a blast. And again, I'll see you guys on Monday for Latino Monday. Latino Monday, porque eso es lo jamaiquino, lo cubano, lo loco, todo el mundo. So share. Share for Latin Monday as well, and join us bright and early, 8 o'clock in the morning. You don't want to miss it. And don't forget, guys, we are listener supported, so please support your favorite station. Ways to give are on the screen. Of course, it's newseasonfm.com, Cash App, $ New Season WC, and Zelle 954-536-1821. Thank you so much, Richard, for your comments and your love towards the show. Please share and invite, and let individuals with disabilities know that their voice matters. They have representation. We are here and we want to get to them. So do me that favor and share. And so I'm going to play a song for you guys. One of my favorite songs, actually, before I let you go. And I will be back with you guys next week. So here we go with one of my favorite songs of all times, Be Alright, because everything's going to be alright. And until then, I will see you guys next week. Don't forget, we will see you guys here tomorrow, bright and early. Thank you, Richard, so much for sharing. Greatly appreciate it. And don't forget, Latin Monday. Here we go.
There's a name that can silence every fear. There's a love that embraces the heartache, the pain, and the tears. Through my faith and my doubting, I know one thing for sure. His word is unfailing, His promise secure. Todo va a estar bien, everything will be alright. Whole world's in His hands. Your whole world's in His hands. In the darkness, in the trials, He's faithful and He is true. The whole world's in His hands. Y todo va a estar bien. Oh, oh, oh. Everything will be alright. Oh, oh, oh.
Yeah.
Father, you say everything's gonna be alright, but my circumstances say I won't last through the night. I need your word to hold me now, need you to pull me through. I need a miracle, a breakthrough, I need you. They say you hold the whole universe in your hand, but my world's falling apart like it is made of sand. Am I small enough to slip through the cracks? Can you take my broken pieces and put them back? Give me faith to believe you're on my side. Open my eyes to see you working in my life. Let the past remind me you never fail, and tell my soul it is well. Y todo va a estar bien. Everything will be alright. The whole world's in his hands. Your whole world's in his hands. In the darkness, in the trials, he's faithful and he's true. Your whole world's in his hands. Y todo va a estar bien. Everything, everything will be alright. Todo va a estar bien. Everything will be alright.
Padre, te confieso a corazón abierto que todo es muy incierto en este desierto. Mi vulnerabilidad está al descubierto. Siento que mi barca está muy lejos de su puerto. ¿Por qué será que ya no sale el sol en mis días? ¿Por qué mis noches son tan frías? ¿Por qué será que siento que me falta algo? ¿Por qué este camino gris se siente tan largo? Sé que estás sobrando aunque no te sienta. Sé que estás sobrando aunque no te vea. Sé que voy a salir de esta odisea. Sé que voy a ganar esta pelea. Sé que va a cesar esta marea temporaria. Que en ti yo viviré una vida extraordinaria. Que aunque no pueda entender, me consuela saber que
yo sé que todo va a estar bien.
Todo va a estar bien.
Everything will be alright.
The whole world's in his hands. Your whole world's in his hands. In the darkness, in the trials, he's faithful and he's true. Your whole world's in his hands. Y todo va a estar bien. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. Todo va a estar bien.
Everything will be alright.
He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands.
Todo el mundo en su mano está. Todo el mundo en su mano está. Todo el mundo en su mano está.
Me well. Forget your failures and forgive yourself for moving on. I'm moving on.